show you how you can actually create a USB drive on a Windows machine, because I assume that most people will use a Windows computer to start off with. So all you need is basically a USB drive that has more than, I think, 5 gigabytes of space. So this one is pretty old, but it has 8 gigabytes of memory. So this should serve us well to create a bootable Ubuntu copy. And then we can use this USB stick to install the operating system. So there's two things that we need in Windows. The first one is the Ubuntu image. So if we look for Ubuntu download, it's the first link. So you see different versions on their website. There is a difference between the versions that they have. So they have Ubuntu 18, and then they have some newer versions. So you want to probably use the LTS version. This is the long-term support. So they will, update packages until 2023. So this is probably what you want to use. Unless you want like the most and newest things, then you can go for the newer version. So let's download this. So the download started right away, so you can see it's coming in, and it will take some time. And then once this is done, we come back. So now we need software that can copy the Ubuntu version onto this USB stick. So there is a lot of options out there, and sadly there's actually also malware where they try and install, Trojans, possibly a virus. So we want to use the software that's officially mentioned by the Ubuntu website to do this. And they refer us to rufus.ie. I think then we can be pretty safe that we don't install something that we don't want on the computer. And this is important. I've seen other tutorials that will point to software that can be problematic. So if we scroll down here, we see we have a download section. So we just go with the newest version. So this went much quicker. This is obviously much smaller than the Ubuntu thing. So we can execute it. Sure, so we can allow this. I don't see a problem with that. Okay, so here we go. So this is pretty simple. So now we have to put in the USB drive into a USB plug in your computer. So let's do that. Okay, so it was detected, so it should show up. So if you open the Explorer, we now have this USB drive here. And this is currently an empty USB drive. So make sure if you have any files on there, you back them up first, because we're going to overwrite everything that's on there. And don't worry, you can always get your USB drive back after we're done with this whole process. So this is our USB drive, so it was detected correctly. This was D, the drive number D. And we can also see that the brand of the USB, that's the correct one that we want to use. We want to find an ISO image that we downloaded. And so now we can select that. So once we selected disk or ISO image, we have to select the image. Rufus is telling us that it needs to download some files. So we'll just continue. And here we want to write the ISO image mode. That's good. Now we get this terrible warning. All data of the device will be destroyed. So don't fear. If you backed up your data, everything is going to be good. Just make sure that it's the right USB drive. If you have multiple USB drives in there, make sure you have the right one selected. And here we go. So it's cleaning, so it probably has to do some reformatting. And so this process takes a little bit of time, and we'll be back in a second to see if it worked.
Few moments later.
The copying process is now completed. So we can now safely remove the USB drive from the computer and use it to install Ubuntu on our new machine. So that's what we're going to do next.